So let's look at a nice little trick that we can use when using the object changer. So let's open this guy in the editor. And let's say we want this guy to have a gun in his hand, right? But we want to be able to switch out that gun to different gun models, different gun types, right? And if we go over here, let's turn on this. I have a few like examples here, right? So we have all these different guns. If we go and we want to copy this guy again over here, whoops, duplicate, and let's say we want to switch this rifle to a pistol. Um, right, when we do that, it's not going to well, that actually did switch pretty nicely, but they're not always going to do that. The positioning is going to be off, right? If you just use the object switcher with a static object, right? Like, so if we just take this pistol or this SMG, whatever it is over here, um, and if we just use the object changer to change to that, and you can see there, the gun is it spawned where the ball was, right? So it's not in his hand, like he's kind of holding on to the butt there, and that's not really what we want. So what we can do is, as you saw over here, I've made a bunch of versions where we have the guy, and the gun is glued to the guy. And then I can go through and I can, as I showed earlier, I can reposition the gun to make sure it's sitting in his hand nicely in a way that looks like he is shooting it when he is in the shoot pose. So the thing about this is, if we use this gun now as the reference object, instead of a gun sitting by itself, it's going to bring that glue and offset data with it. So all we have to do now is make sure that this reference or this object that's going to be replaced is glued to the same bone. So this object is glued to the right hand. And then I just have a list here. This is just a basic object list. I'm keeping all three of these guns in the list. And then just like we did in the last example, I have a list value inspector. And then again, as we go through here, I have 1, 2, 3. Those are my different guns. And they spawn in the position that they should be in versus the position of the target object, which was just that ball, which I purposely kind of put away from the hand so that we could see how this is working. When we go to the shoot pose, it looks good. We can still switch out the guns. In the shoot pose, we can make him dance, and he's holding on to the gun nicely. So that's great if you want to have a customizable character. Again, in kind of like the old way, if you wanted to have, like 10 different hairstyles, you would just have 10 different hairstyles glued to your guy's head and just be changing the visibility. So this makes it much easier to attach stuff to your guy without having to have an overly complicated reusable setup.